we were talking a little bit about being first generation and low income and so forth. And for me, that was a challenge. I think, well, for one, I had never been around people who had come from affluent backgrounds, not even really upper middle class backgrounds. So it was a bit of shock when I got here and people had BMWs with their names on them.
The wealth was shocking.
The wealth was shocking,
Yeah.
yeah. And being a student who did not have that, and I essentially, I did all my financial aid forms and all of that stuff, and I took out my loans, and I was responsible for everything. It was just very different, I think, from other people's experiences.
There was a sense you're like, I don't want people really to know how poor I am.
Right.
Because I can tell, like, I would feel out of place if they really understood how poor I was.
Right.
Yeah, that was a
So,
definitely concern.
It was that was part of me that I didn't really reveal,
Yeah.
To many people. So just being here, I think people would make assumptions about who you are and who your parents are.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, we grew up on welfare and with like Section 8 housing and food stamps and all of that kind of thing. And while I was here, I remember sending money to my mom or buying things for her that she needed. And so it's just
different.
It was just different. And of course I was ashamed to for other people to know that. Now I embrace that because it's just who I am. It's part of my story. But at 18, it's something that you're embarrassed about.
I remember being, first night, we're being in a memorial auditorium, and then the chancellor gives a speech, and I remember him saying something like, you belong, like you are selected because you belong here. Mm-hmm. And the one thing, just coming out of Stanford, I've always felt was I can do anything. Yeah. Like Stanford reinforces that with you from day one.
Yeah.
You can do anything. And so just in my jobs, in my career, I've never ever thought I couldn't do something. Like, I'm like, what do you mean it's too hard? And no, it's not too hard. You can figure it out. Mm-hmm. It's always been, and it came from just the culture that Stanford instills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important because, for example, when I was a senior in high school, I remember my English teacher telling me, she'd say, where are you applying? And I told her where I was applying. And she said, Stanford, why are you applying there? You're going to take somebody else's spot. And so coming from a place, from there, and then being able to come here and be successful and do it, it's just like, it's amazing. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.